estate agents. Welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampada, the man with the plan.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing, Joey?
I'm doing awesome, Jeff. How are you?
Well, I'm doing awesome as well.
Yes.
I love the word awesome.
Oh, we do.
Oh, yeah. We're the Real Estate Marketing Maniacs. We've got a great guest with us in the house.
Yes, we do.
We're actually, I believe we're Facebook Live right now as well.
Yes,
So
we
some people
are.
might get a sneak peek of this episode, believe it or not. We have Chuck Malone from JK Realty in studio. How's it going, Chuck?
Welcome.
Chuck
Good
the
morning.
man.
Good morning.
Yeah, how
I'm
you
anxious
doing?
to be here. Thank you. Happy
Good.
to be here.
Good. We're going to have some fun.
Wonderful.
And
That's why I came.
and I think you have, let's see, did you have something you wanted to do with me?
Well, you know,
Be mighty.
I always have a little bit of a promotion.
Yeah.
Today, it's Be Mighty.
Be mighty.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that. Didn't it? It even had your receptionist smiling. There's just something about that term. And
That's great.
the Be Mighty slogan really came from Dutch brothers who gave us these hats and shirts
Really?
for our grandson Jacob. Now Jacob was born with autism, and as time went on, they discovered that there was more to that autistic gene, and they found mitochondria defect. It's a mitochondria. We all have it. It's the energy promotes the energy of the cell, if you will. I'm not a physician, so you'll have to go to Google to find out the real. But I know that it powers the cell, and when it's defective, it takes away that power, and so the autism gene will power up, and then the mitochondria will power down, and just one moment he's up on his toes, and the next moment he's on the couch. And unfortunately, the disease is there's no cure, and it's a life-threatening and life-taking disease.
Wow.
Well, we're all going to die, and some are going to die sooner. But what I love about Jake and his story is that this exemplifies him. You know, he was in the hospital for time and time again in the first 3 or 4 years of his diagnosis, because what really cued them was that he couldn't have a bowel movement, and so it would get all blocked up. They'd have to take him into the hospital and do all their clean out, and their clean out would take upwards of a week often.
Wow.
Well, it seemed like he was there for 1 week, and then he would come home for a few days, and then he was back in the hospital again for a week, and his mom was there by his side every step of the way, see? And there wasn't much for Jake to do. So when about 3 years ago, Brittany asked Jake, his mom, what would you like for your birthday? And Jake said, I just would like birthday cards. I just want to, because I love to read birthday cards. I love to read what people have to say, and I'll take those birthday cards. Well, how many would you like? Well, 400.
Wow.
400 birthday cards, Jake. That's amazing.
That's a lot of reading.
Well, and Jake got, I'm thinking 1,000 that very first time. 1,000 birthday cards. Can you imagine? Wow. And the post office would call and say, there's a bin full of cards here for your son. And they set up a little separate bin for us. And we'd go down and pick those up. And at night, we would open them with the family until 2 in the morning and get pretty emotional about some of the stories.
Sure, yeah.
Well, you know what? The next year, Channel 10 got a hold of it. The Phoenix Suns got a hold of it. The Phoenix Mercury got a hold of it, and the thing exploded and went viral. And I won't, long story short, this year, his 15th birthday, Jacob, his goal was 100,000 birthday cards. Wow. Now, you know what that does to a Queen Creek post office? So I think the number was about 80,000. I can't remember what the real number was, but it was huge.
Wow.
And to the point it was just overwhelming. I mean, you try to put all those cards in a house. And
probably needed a bigger mailbox, huh?
But what it's done is it's we would take the car and sometimes 2 cars to fill up all the cards. It was just, to me, it reflected the humanity of people all over the world. They fell in love with Jake. If you go to Adventures with Mighty Jake on Facebook, you will see his smile, and you will see that this young man, 3 years ago, it was December, they sent Jake home essentially saying there's nothing more we can do. There's nothing we can do. And it was Christmas, and we planned his funeral. And he had other plans. The Lord had other plans.
Amen.
And so Jake's been to New York. He's been the Grand Marshal for marathons, the NYPD, Brooklyn North. Yay, Brooklyn! Has adopted him. And he's known all over the world. He really is. It's quite the story. And so I love to champion the cause. I love to call people's awareness to the autistic and the mitochondria, very rare diseases. The doctors didn't know anything about it. They still don't.
Yeah.
They are learning more, but they don't know what causes it and how, and what's all they do is they know how to treat the symptom. And once the symptom, they've treated as much as they could with Jake, they pulled all the life ports out and said to us as a family, take him home, make him comfortable. He has a blood clot here that probably will take him. We can't find anybody that will operate. And so there's nothing we can do. And so that hopelessness at times will reach every one of us at times, right? But we bounce back.
Yep.
Right,
Absolutely.
We take it from there. So that's the Be Mighty story today, and I know that's not real estate oriented, but I appreciate you letting me share a little bit. So I would like to present you with one of these and one to Joy.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Put that on right now.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah, we will.
Well, I love your show, Jeff and Joy. You guys have a great spirit about you, and I love real estate, and I was thinking this morning about what's. I'll be talking about brand. If you ask me about that, I'll give you some ideas on brand. And I thought, what am I? And I thought, well, I'm a kind of an evangelist. I love to talk about things that I'm passionate about. I'm not afraid of showing, about telling people about them. And I love to talk about real estate and what a marvelous industry it's been for me. Has it been full of
ups and downs?
Ups and downs, yes. If we had a tsunami or two, yes. But it wasn't real estate's fault. It's always been out of my control of what's happened, but you learn through experience.
Yeah, that's right.
So I loved it. I love it. So
we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for
thanks for letting me
come.
come.
Hat.
This is awesome.
Styling the hat. If you're watching the video, right?
Yes.
We got the Be Mighty.
Be mighty.
Be mighty.
Be
All right.
mighty.
Awesome.
I wish I had a radio voice like that. Be mighty.
There you go. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
And,
Thanks for letting me.
We appreciate it.
You bet.
How about so JK Realty?
Right.
How long now?
Jason and Kayla, if you want
Yes.
to know what the JK is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long have you been with them now?
Well, a good question. I don't know how you define coincidence. Some say it's coincidence just by chance, and others say, well, it's when the Lord decides to remain anonymous. And I was out of that 2008 debacle, I guess you'd call it, and looking for a place that was closer to my home and that I could assist the people going through the short sale thing.
Right.
And I had just finished a project up in Tuba City, building a travel center for the Hopi tribe up there. And I was out of work, and there was nothing else. And I said, well, my residential sales had kind of diminished during that time that I was doing that truck center and travel center. And so I looked around, and I found JK Realty about a mile or two from my home. And I thought, well, I'll just run over there and check them out. Sure. And they were located in a little office, flex office over on Power Road. And I walked in and talked to the receptionist, and she says, well, just a minute, the broker will be right with you. And this lady storms out of this office. Man, I thought, and like we had been long lost friends, she had never met me before, and yet that glow and that beautiful face is just amazing. And we visited, and she said, I would just love to have you. We are a small outfit. We have big ideas. We're involved in they were a listing broker for HUD. If you remember that term back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think they were approved for like 220 homes. And so Jason was kind of running that show, and Kayla was doing her thing, and there was just 4 or 5 agents. And I said to her, Kayla, listen, I've been there and done that, and all I really want to do is just sort of serve my clientele. You know, I have a nice following. 90% of my business comes from referrals, and so you won't even know I'm here. You know, I've run my own show. I've had years of running my own deal with agents, and so my company name back in the day was Old West Realty.
Old West Realty.
Old West. Yeah.
Old West Realty.
We had fun with that. And at first it was Malone Real Estate, Malone Realty and Investments. I just, had that picture of the shamrock. And so anyway, so I started with Kayla, and she would not have anything other than me be involved. And she said, I think video is going to become the main thing. What's the main thing? Video. She said, let's get you a video.
Yeah, this will be interesting. I'd love to hear that story because, more mature and wise people, right? I learned to say that.
You're so very kind.
Mature and wise. They're afraid of social media, right? Yeah. They're afraid of doing video. But we took when we were doing research on you, we saw lots of video that you did.
Right. And I owe that to Kayla and Jason.
So what would you tell people who were afraid to shoot video?
Well, I think it depends on their nature. All of us have different temperaments and personality types. And one of the things I like to do is help people over those, identify what they are, and then let's figure out how we can change that a little bit. Yeah. We can all change our nature, and we can all change our personalities. I'm not comfortable doing this. I'm much more at home watching it. But now when the microphone's pointing to me, then I have to go into what I call stage mode. Stage personality.
Absolutely.
Well, you can't be kind of in the back, and you can't be a little soft-spoken. You have to be a little more animated and a little more passionate. And I think
genuine.
You have to be more genuine. And what Facebook does and what video does, it shows us. I don't watch them. I don't watch mine.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you got that Johnny Depp thing.
Well, I don't want to. I don't want to be. See, I'm too critical, so I don't. Excuse me. We do them, and then they're out there, but I choose not to study them too.
And that's
too hard.
okay.
It's okay. I did mine today, or I did mine this week, or whatever the goal is. But Joey, you asked why do people shy away from it? And I think we are our own worst critic, and so, but the important thing is, in my mind, is that we adjust to the times. I heard someone, maybe it was on your show, or maybe it was when I attended one of your classes, I think it was, and you were talking about Facebook. By the way, you do amazing classes.
I appreciate that.
You really do. That people today on Facebook just thumb through. They scroll, and they scroll so fast that unless you really pop out, they won't even see your post or read. They just won't.
You just be a part of the scroll.
You're just part of the scroll. It's it's got to be something visual. Ooh, I like that.
That's a good one. We got to write that down, Joey.
Or don't be part of the scroll. And so you have to do something to pop out, to get them to stop. Put that thumb.
Yes.
And so I think that's video. And then we get caught up in it's got to be professional. I mean, I have to look my very best. Well, I watched a guy this morning, and I watched the various phases of him. I like to watch other people's videos, by the way. And he wasn't pretty, but his message was great.
Yeah. You know, one of the things I say when we teach video classes is, you know, for people who are afraid to be on video because of their looks or the way they sound, I just tell them respectfully, the way you look and sound on video is what you really look like and sound like in real life.
I've heard you say that before.
So if people can stand the way you look and sound, that means, you know.
And they still like you.
And they still like you, right?
You are what you are, Chuck. That's right.
It's real.
You are real. That's right.
It's real.
Video just showing it.
So what do you think, adding video, and I know you do a lot of social media stuff, right? How has that really impacted your business?
I have 3 words, top of mind.
That's good.
Yeah.
I will tell you that last year was our very best year. I mean, I am humbled by it. I am absolutely humbled. I mean, at my stage in life, to be in the top 4 or 5 of JK Realty of 250 agents for the last couple of years has been
amazing.
Overwhelming.
Awesome.
And I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you, I don't know. I mean, I just do. I watch Kayla. I watch Jason. I watch what they're doing now. They're on stage. They're impacting the world. You know, I'm gonna. I hope
you're being real.
I hope so. You know, I just love. I get up every morning. I'm just being as honest as I can. I get up every morning, and I can't wait to get to work. I can't wait to find who I'm going to help today. And every day. And I'm disappointed when I don't have someone that calls and says, I need you to go show me some houses.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, I'm away. I don't know how many drops in that sand of time that I have left, so I want to fill it up, man.
So what would you say is I'm curious about the all the video stuff and the Facebook Lives and all the things that you're doing. What do you think gets the most engagement? I mean, is it always just real estate, or is it some of the things that you do outside of real estate? What would you say is...
I think, Jeff, there has to be a balance. We can't always be everything about real estate. We can't always be on there saying, hey, look at my latest listing, and here's me in front of my new house. You know, I just sold this. And I like to give acknowledgement to those things so that people know that I'm there and I'm active.
Yeah.
I've met people for the first time who tell me, well, the reason that we came back to you is we saw you on Facebook, and we see that you're very active in the business. Well, that's creating an impression. So I want to have that impression, but I also want them to know about my grandson Jake and mitochondria. I want them to know about my love for writing, my love for helping and serving. And when we go out, we try to serve You know, I served in the prison system for 5 years, out there helping inmates resolve things. And that was some of the choicest. I'll write a book about that one day. But it was, again, we have to look at and be rounded in our approach, I think. Facebook is a most amazing vehicle. It's changing the lives of people, and it's exposing the lives of people. You know, I mean, that's a vulnerability part of it, and we have to allow ourselves to show a little vulnerability and transparency.
Well, and so what I'm hearing is, yes, you're going to post some real estate stuff because you want people to know that this is what you do for a living. However, you want to post additional things
to keep their interest,
just about life.
You bet.
In general.
It's
and what you're passionate about outside of real estate.
Exactly.
Because real estate is real estate.
Yeah, it is. Well, and let me take that one. Again, here's my little take.
Okay.
Real estate is about people.
It is.
I see the business turning it into a number.
Got it. Yeah.
I see more and more of the. I mean, I love the folks you have on your show, and most of them are big producers, man. I mean, big numbers that I'll never I mean, even when I had 50 associates, I never hit those kind of numbers. Of course, the price of a home was $23,600.
Oh yeah,
How about those?
that's a big difference.
23. And so I don't relate to those numbers, but real estate is about people. It's about people with the biggest investment in their lives and turning it over to a friend. And this just like, really, is that you would give your money to a friend who says I'm not trying. Everybody needs a start, and so I'm grateful for people who have the confidence to give their newest agent friend a start. But I am saying that there's it's the largest investment they'll ever make. It may only be their only source of net worth in their whole life. When you look at the savings that people don't have today towards retirement.
Yep.
And so I treat that very personally. And I mean, if I can't solve it, man, I beat myself up for a week.
Sure.
And I just think I can solve it.
Right. Gosh, no, that's good stuff.
Yeah,
That's
real
good stuff. What tips or what advice would you give an agent if they, if they're hesitant to put their voice out to the world, whether it's in video or Facebook Live or whatever? What tips would you tell them? What do they need to do?
I think you start where you're comfortable. Start in your comfort zone. I mean, otherwise you're not going to do it. You probably expected the word, do it. Just do it. Just do it. Well, that's easy for you to say, Chuck. You've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't know the struggle I go through every time that I know I have to do a Facebook Live. I did a Facebook Live on the way over here. I wasn't comfortable with it. I didn't know what we were going to say.
That's because you were driving while you were.
Yeah, exactly. And my eyes were going and my thoughts were going. But I think you have to look at, again, I would say get on YouTube and search some video of real estate agents who have done it, who are doing it. And you're going to find some that are absolutely terrible.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they put the phone up on the dash and then they get driving and they're just talking about all this stuff and you wonder what in the world's with that. And then they post it.
Yeah.
And, I go find somebody's house that you can stand in front of, have somebody else do it. Come with you, right? I mean, I have a videographer that comes with me. I hire her to come and do this because my arm isn't long enough. And so she comes and I stand in front of a house and I just say, "Hi, this is Chuck with JK Realty. Welcome to my world." I'm in front of this home on wherever, and it's an amazing home. And then I'll look at the stat sheet. This home has 2,330 square feet, and it's marvelous.
Yeah.
And what have I just done? I've created a video.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so then just post it. Just get on. Don't even upload it to anything. Just right there on your phone, upload it or put it on Facebook, and there it goes, and there's your video. And then get better.
Yes.
Then start studying.
The more you do it, the better you get.
Exactly. There is strategy to it. There's form to it. There's legalities to it that sometimes we avoid, and we want to make sure we're covered on those. And so, if I can't post it, I always say I'm Chuck Malone. I am an equal housing opportunity realtor. Right.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's great. So before we get to the next segment, any other tips or advice you want to give agents or share with them?
Well, I wrote down a couple of things that I thought. Well,
I was going to say you've got some things there.
Yeah, I do. Well, we've talked about social. Yeah, I should have brought my iPad. Social media presence. I think you have to be out there. You have to be out there. It's where the people are. Most of my business comes from referrals, and it's because I try to be out there, and it'll come serving with someone, doing something in a club or a service organization, or just out with a group of hoeing weeds or something, and someone says, "You're still in real estate, right?" Well, obviously you're not on my we're not. Are we not Facebook friends? So I'm always trying to get somebody on my Facebook friend. I know I can't influence them very much unless I get them where they can see me. So I'm always trying to friend new people. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Build up that Facebook database, because that is important. If we're all about being mighty, if we're all about being influential, if we're going to go through this life and create a legacy for ourselves and for our family, what better tool than Facebook right now?
Yeah.
I mean, don't be stupid, and post things on there that can come back to haunt you. Be an encourager. Be a what I call a balcony person, if you've read that book, and be someone that's always giving encouragement and not criticizing. There's enough critics. We don't need any more of those.
Sure.
We got them out there. So
Okay.
Change your style a little bit, and then open houses.
Open houses.
I got to tell you, it's the hardest thing I do. And I think as I get older, it's harder. I mean, here I am out at 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, putting up signs and dodging on busy intersections, dodging traffic. I mean, and I keep thinking, I'm too old for this. But man, I put my open house signs out there, and then I canvass the neighborhood, or I do whatever I need to do. I'll absolutely get on Facebook right then.
Yeah.
Tell them, hey guys, here I am, and it draws people in.
Yeah,
So
sure it
open
does.
houses are my second best producer.
Well, I saw one of your videos. You had a construction hat on.
Oh,
so
yes,
why don't you
yes.
just wear the little vest thing, the construction hat, and a
there you
stop
go.
sign when you're putting up your signs?
That's a
There
great
you go.
idea.
Yeah.
Put ADOT on there or something and get in trouble.
Anyway, but no, that's great information. We love it.
Yes.
You're also an author, however, right?
Yes.
Kind of forced into that by the circumstances of trial, and I've always been a little prolific in my emails and writings to, I've had the opportunity along the way to be associated with some great people, great families, great men and women, and along the way I've learned things that I could never have learned had I not been at their side and receiving their tutelage. And so I think in the real estate business, if you're new, getting someone that can tutor you, someone that can help you get acclimated, learn the ropes. We all have a learning curve. Get that learning curve up as quickly as you can. So, back in the 2008, and I keep referring to that. That was the third one. I had one in the late 70s, early 80s, where interest rates went up to 20%, and I was and I was a home builder. I joined with a couple of other men, and we became Old West Homes and built homes in Gilbert. That's where our first subdivision was. So I had a wonderful run. And 10 years later, that run came to an end with the interest rates, and many of the big builders disappeared, and our little company, we were just, I had a machine going. I mean, I could have been so wealthy, and then it stopped, and I took that so personal, and I didn't recover from it. I let it eat at me. I kept just criticizing myself, right? And look what you've done. Look what you've lost. Look there went Facebook Live. And
it's real.
Yeah, it is real. It's what happens, folks. And so that's why they don't do Facebook Live and without editing. But so the trial that came from that for me was depression. Man, I can relate. If you got any of the listeners out there that have,
Sure.
I'm kind of an overthinker and I take things very personal. I try to do my best on everything. It's never good enough, and so I allowed myself to get into that dark world of depression. And it was a long haul, guys. It was a long haul. And during that time, we had a daughter, 32 years of age, that came down with breast cancer, 5 kids. And that looked like it was going to take her life, and we moved her and her family into our home, 5 kids and husband and wife, and we battled that thing, and she is a survivor today.
Oh, good.
But I learned some things through that. Then we got the letter from IRS that says, we kind of like to look at your last 3 years of whatevers, and they add that on top of that. And then one thing after another, when you're already down, and I couldn't find work, and it had been about 2 years without work. And I said, you know what? And this is such a lesson, because when we get to that point in life that we absolutely feel like we can't solve it ourselves and we have to turn to a higher power, the door opened and a thought came: why not try your hand at copywriting? You might just as extra income, just to have some extra. I'm a firm believer in multi-sources of income, guys.
Sure.
I along the way, when you look at all of experience being for our good, and you look at the different types of experiences that are available, real estate has offered me that opportunity, because I always have that need of people needing to move and sell, right? But I also have my own hobby. What's your hobby? My other hobby is making more money on a different level. And so I started an independent distributorship that led to public speaking all over the country, paid. I mean, it was the most glorious time of my life. My wife actually came along with me, and we had a great opportunity to do that during some very difficult periods of time during real estate. And yet I was still making money and still honing a skill of being able to assist and motivate and inspire others. And so all of this led up to getting published as a copywriter. And I thought, well, gee, that was my first time. I made the cover, my photograph made the cover, and my article made the lead article in this fancy magazine. I wonder if I have something. So I wrote another article, and I sent it into a church newspaper, and they published it and paid me.
Wow.
I mean, it was like, okay, maybe I'm on a roll. Anyway, the article that I had published, I had always thought, the sweetness of trial. I've never heard anybody refer to trial as being sweet, but there was a period of time in the absolute utmost despair that I felt the Lord's hand come around me, and it was life-changing. It was, I think, as I look back on it, as I had probably, and again, this isn't a religious show, but it's people quit real estate because they beat themselves up.
Yeah.
They quit real estate because they hit a trial. And people divorce because they hit a trial. And people end their lives because they hit a trial. So Chuck, why in the world would you write a book on trial? Who wants to read a book on trial? Well, you'll want to read this because it's a fun read, but it's also an emotional read.
Okay.
One of the chapters is trial is non-denominational. Doesn't matter who you are, what your belief is. You're going to be hit with trial, or you just came out of one, or you're going to have one.
Sure.
Right? So it's important to understand, at least in my mind, I went through all these trials without any help of knowing how I should react to a trial. Well, The Sweetness of Trial, the book that I present both to you and Joey, and I hope you read it.
Awesome. Thank you.
And The Sweetness of Trial, if you want to get the little cover on it there shows there's grandson Jake.
Oh, got it.
Nice.
See how appropriate that is?
Yes.
And he's there with the Savior's arms open to him. If you're in trial, come unto me.
Yeah.
And he has. And so that was really the catalyst, Jeff. And I've written several books. When I do them, I don't take it away from a real estate business. I do them on the treadmill in the morning at the gym.
There we go.
I have my iPad, and I write. That's where I do my writing.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. And I've written 4 books in there. This is the first to be published. But I'm writing another one called Winning Through Trial.
Winning Through Trial.
And that's the one I'm really excited. This sets the foundation. Winning Through Trial will now, how do I actually, one of my little notes on my desk, look for it. How do I because I think that my writing skill came from the opportunity that trial forced me into. I was looking for other opportunities.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's going to be, I have winning ways, actually go through on how to set yourself up for the next trial and how to react to it and how to prepare yourself and change your attitude. We're going to be programmed one way or another.
Sure.
That's right.
So we can choose to program ourselves in a positive, or we can let life program us to be negative.
Right. No, that is great. Thank you so
That's
much for
good stuff.
sharing
Anyway,
that.
that's
That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is awesome. If agents that are listening or watching, if they wanted to reach out to you directly, are you okay with that? Or
Yeah, I mean, I'm at Chuck at jkrealtyaz.com if they want to.
easy enough.
If they want that, or 420-329-7489, which is my cell. So I'm always happy to talk.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, I guess that's.
So you ready to transition to?
Oh yes, I'm ready.
The ring.
Am I going in the ring?
Yes.
All right.
Here we go. Let's get in the ring. All right. So, what's the best advice that anyone's ever given you?
Oh. Well, that's a great question. Where do I start? To never quit.
Never quit. Never quit.
I mean, let me put this one, the more recent. Brand yourself. That was great advice.
Good.
And I think Jason and Kayla had some input into that.
Yeah.
Let's brand you, Chuck. Let's get you out there in the world. And that brand, I'm still fine tuning it. I mean, I don't know if I want to be the Billy Graham of real estate, or the Chuck the Evangelist realtor. I don't know who I want to be, but I'm trying to present that brand and create the brand. So that was, and stay in social media. I mean, you have to get there.
Yeah.
That's, if you're not in social media, it's a little bit like going back to my day when I opened Malone Realty, and I rented furniture from Walsh Brothers, rent to own, by the way. And you probably don't remember Walsh Brothers, but and a little office in Mesa, and there's my book, and it was the thick MLS book, and I had a phone, and that's, nobody could get to real estate without calling me.
Yeah.
That's not the case today, folks.
Right. No, that's right.
That has changed.
I have a feeling I know what this one is, but what's your favorite mobile app?
I'm curious to see what one you would think
I was thinking Facebook.
Yeah,
but,
that's what I was thinking too.
You probably have maybe something else that you use.
I love iMovie.
Oh, iMovie's
okay.
good.
Yeah, iMovie. Of course, Google Maps. I couldn't get anywhere. I am directionally challenged, but I could go on. I'm not a map. I'm not an app techie, but I use the apps as much as I can.
How about a book recommendation?
Thank you for asking. I guess I said earlier on that real estate is a business of people. It's still a people business, and if you're not changing yourself, if you're not working on making yourself more of a people person, then you're going to have a hard time at real estate. If you're looking at it just as a numbers, and I know that's the trend, and I'm trying to adjust that in my own life.
Yeah.
More numbers, because I know that I've got to get the word out to more and more people and use voice texting and using all the other different things that I'm still a little uncomfortable with. But people, you are still going to have to go to that house. You are still going to have to look that person in the eye and convince them as to why you are the man or woman for the job. And I think in order to do that, you need to know personalities, you need to know temperaments. The books that I've read along the way that have changed me have been Dale Carnegie's books, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Book. That'll never go away, because that's all. Those principles are still the same.
Right.
Les Giblin and the power and how to have power and influence. In people skills, developing people skills. I joined Toastmasters. I couldn't stand on my feet and deliver a talk. I was scared to death of public speaking. Oh my goodness. But I joined a Toastmasters, an early morning Toastmasters. It was this particular group was the City of Mesa employees. I was the only non-employee, and so I'm in there sitting with the rest of these folks, and they would, you had your opportunity to stand up and give your 1 minute, who I am type of thing, and that really helped me. And then I took voice lessons, if you can believe. I had no strength in the voice. And so what can I do to change that? Well, I started taking voice lessons and learning how to breathe and learning how to develop some strength in there, which both of those helped me immensely down the road in public speaking.
That's awesome.
You just never know what's going to come.
And with people, absolutely.
So those are great books. I would be remiss if I didn't give you some Gary Keller in Shift was a major influence in developing systems, and I'm a systems guy. You have to develop systems. I'm still learning. I'm still trying. And then the Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
That's a
again,
great book.
both of those are great.
Yeah.
So if you're brand new, you're just getting started, and you don't have a place, those are two great books.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
it's time for the mask.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
All right. Let's see here.
Make it easy on me,
couple
man.
questions in
I'm
there.
tired now. Make
There we go.
it easy.
This is beautiful. What is
Yes,
that, velvet?
Yes, it is.
Here it is.
Well, let's
That
see.
might be an easy one. Huh?
What flavor of ice cream?
Yeah.
No, gotcha on that one.
Yeah.
Joey would have put that one.
I
I
would have.
am an Oreo cookie guy.
Oreo
Joey.
cookie
Oh
guy.
yeah.
I know.
Put that
That's
in.
good.
Did you know that my wife and I owned a Dairy Queen?
Really?
Oh yeah, right when the
Wow.
blizzards came out, we owned a Dairy
Wow.
Queen.
My
Oh, that
favorite
was-
is the strawberry shortcake cheesecake one.
Ooh, yeah, that's hers. Yeah, that's her. Mine was just anything with ice cream and cookies in it. What did you want to be growing up?
Oh.
That caught me off guard.
Wow.
Well, I was a dreamer, little boy. I could tell the wildest tales, but I guess I wanted to be. I was very athletic, or at least I tried to be athletic. I wasn't really in that upper, but I tried to be athletic, wanted to be, and so I guess that always filled the dream of being. A great baseball player or something.
There you
My
go.
dad was the chief of the fire department,
Oh, okay.
and so obviously having that in my mind, being a fireman one day, but I just wanted to captain my ship. I
There
just
you go.
wanted to be the guy. I left a job with a very secure job to go become a real estate agent.
There you go. That's an adventure, right?
It was an adventure, man.
Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
It's been great information.
I hope
Yes. Thank you for the gifts too.
Well,
Yeah,
you're absolutely
you
welcome,
should.
and you both get a book
Well,
as
thank
well.
you.
All
Appreciate
right.
that.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Chuck. Until next time, this is Jeff Underwood, and
And Joey Sampaga.
we are the Real Estate Marketing Maniacs. See you later. All right.
Good job, guys. That was awesome.